D.O.R.F, Real-Time Strategy Conflict, which I will absolutely just be calling D.O.R.F, and I'm sure a lot of you are too, aims to recreate the classic RTSs of old, namely Command & Conquer and Red Alert, the inspirations of which are pretty obvious in this newest trailer. I mean, they even have this on their website. Visually, D.O.R.F is quite striking. It has that old-timey art style but merges it with clearly much more advanced technology. It's kind of like lo-fi meets Unity Engine 2023. I think it looks great. The game will feature 3 factions. It will include combat across land, air and sea, and have base building, resource gathering, and economy management similar to all the classic RTSs of the 90s. However, from their marketing, it does seem like D.O.R.F will have more of a focus on that resourcing aspect, as they talk a lot about big bases of factories, refineries, and the dreaded E-word, efficiency. But still, despite my lacking interest for resource efficiency factory games, yeah, I'm still keen for this one. There's no release date yet, but I'm pretty sure this is going to pop off when it comes out. I do kind of wish it had a better name though. Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin is very interesting to me, as it is kind of a niche of a niche of a niche. It's a Warhammer game, but it's not 40k, which they usually are. It's a strategy game, but it's not turn-based or 4X, which they usually are. And it's Age of Sigmar, which is the newest edition of Warhammer Fantasy that was introduced in 2015. And I don't know, have there been any Age of Sigmar games? I mean, probably, but I'm pretty sure there's never been an Age of Sigmar RTS. Anyway, this one is being developed by Frontier, which is also interesting, as they've garnered a pretty solid reputation over the years across multiple game genres, with things like Elite Dangerous and Planet Coaster, so I'm pretty keen to see what they can do with this. I will say that for a Warhammer game, there's a surprising lack of blood in the trailers, but I'm pretty interested in this as a casual Warhammer enjoyer regardless. I'll be giving it a shot when it releases sometime this year. There's no specific date yet, but there is a beta that you can sign up for right now. So we finally got our first look gameplay of Stormgate, the RTS created by ex-Blizzard developers at Frost Giant Studios. Self-described as a spiritual successor to classic series like Command & Conquer, Warcraft and StarCraft, yep, this is looking pretty great so far, though admittedly there's still not a lot of information out there on the finer things. This is pre-alpha gameplay, so you've got to be taking everything here with a grain of salt, as everything and anything could change before release. But still, I'm a big fan of the art style. It embodies that charming Blizzard style without feeling too cartoony or disconnected from reality. Though I'm sure the final product will look pretty different to what we're looking at now, but hopefully the vibe is the same. Gameplay wise, there's some interesting things to spot. There seems to be levels of terrain interaction with these forests allowing smaller units to pass through them but blocking the bigger mechs. As well as something going on here with this long grass, stealth maybe? I'd guess that there might be some other terrain based mechanics too. Water is an obvious one, but maybe there'll be other things like lava, or cracked terrain that only allows hovering units to cross it. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Maybe you'll be able to manipulate it yourself. We'll see. It looks like we've got 2 resources, unit special abilities, and like holes in the map? I'm not quite sure what this is. I do wonder if it's an aesthetic only thing, or if it hints at something more. Overall, Stormgate is looking sweet, and I'm hoping to receive a beta key in my inbox, and I'm pretty sure they're going out in July. Personally, I am interested in seeing the campaign and single player side of things more than this PvP demo they showed, but I'll take whatever they give me at this point. As of right now, there is no date on Stormgate's release. Last Train Home caught my eye as a unique spin on real-time strategy, and from now on I'll just be calling it the Train RTS. In it, you're working to get a legion of Czechoslovak soldiers back home while travelling through the perilous terrain caught between the Russian Red and White armies, in the middle of the Russian Civil War post-World War I. There's not a ton of information about the gameplay right now, but there is a lot of screenshots. They describe it as an epic survival strategy game, and based off their marketing material, it seems to be a mix of overworld armoured train management sim and real-time strategy battles. I did read somewhere that someone described it as Mountain Blade mixed with Company of Heroes, and from what I've seen, that seems pretty apt. The train itself is your hub, with a bunch of different cars that fill different roles, so medical, artillery, kitchen, etc. You'll need to manage your resources and troops, but it's not clear how the real-time battles are tied into the overworld. Whether there's an Iron Man style permadeath system in place, I'm not sure, but it would certainly fit the vibe. Something like this could easily work as a single long campaign, or even a roguelike, or like a short repeatable kind of thing. Maybe as a separate game mode, I'm not sure what their plan is. It does seem like they're focusing pretty hard on the story, so I imagine there'll be one long campaign and maybe a secondary roguelike mode down the line, that kind of thing. I'm keen to see some long form gameplay whenever that does come though, as that should answer some more questions. Visually, Last Train Home looks great, with the trailer and gameplay screenshots showcasing multiple terrain options and some lovely vistas in the overworld map. I reckon this is the most interesting game that we saw, and if you think the same, then go and wishlist this on Steam. Actually, go wishlist all the other ones too. It really does help out these smaller devs. No set date on this one yet, as far as I can tell. One article said 2023, but I couldn't see any source on that one, so we'll find out at some point. Now quickly onto a few RTS adjacent games that I thought you might be interested in. Frostpunk 2 was shown off with a flashy new CG trailer. Still not a lot of information on this one, but expect it to be cold. Look, to be perfectly honest with you, I've never actually played the original Frostpunk, but I've heard great things about it, obviously, so let me know in the comments if I should finally get around to actually playing it. Frostpunk 2 is landing sometime next year. Star Trek Infinite was announced as a grand strategy Star Trek game. There'll be more info on this in a few days after this video on June 16th, so you can probably look into this one more than I can right now. Unfortunately, I can't quite see the future. Yet. Cities Skylines 2 got a new trailer and a release date, October 24th. And yep, this certainly does look like Cities Skylines. I'm personally quite keen on this one as I really enjoyed the first game, and I played quite a lot of it back in the day. One of my first reviews on this channel was actually on one of its last DLC releases, so definitely don't go back and watch that video. Like, really don't, it sucks, don't do it. Nova Roma is a new city builder developed by Lion Shield, creators of Kingdoms and Castles, which was another city builder that currently sits on 93% very positive on Steam and has over 1 million copies sold, which is wild, especially because I'm pretty sure the developer is just 2 guys. I haven't played this one myself, but it clearly seems well liked. Nova Roma brings its new setting and aims to evolve the formula that they've created and clearly have pretty down pat already, so if you're a fan of city builders, I'd expect good things from this one. Nova Roma has an early access release date of sometime next year. Okay, last one. Ferocious is definitely not a strategy game, but it is one I like the look of as a fan of dinosaurs. And dinosaur fans know that there's always room for a good dino game, mainly because there's basically none out there, especially none from any time recently. Ferocious is a first-person shooter slash sort of horror game that sees you exploring a deadly Pacific Ocean island after a shipwreck leaves most of your mates dead and gone. No release date for this one yet, but I'll certainly be keeping my eye on it. Man, with this, and Compound Fracture, and like maybe Exoprimal I guess, dinosaur fans are eating pretty good right now. Or at least they will be once these games come out. And that's it. Let me know in the comments what your favourite upcoming game is, and if I've forgotten anything important. I'm pretty sure I got them all, but hey, I wouldn't put it past me to forget something. If you'd like to support me and what I do here, consider doing so as a YouTube member or a patron over on Patreon, you could probably guess. You'll join legends like Aero, Jack Walsh, Nutty Jawa, Overlord Jebus, T Edits, Crispy Robo Chicken, XV204, Benjamin, David, Cynical Cheddar, Sebastian, Dakayo, David, Wintendo, Bad Ghosts, Sean, Grey Spirit 4, Peter, Tim and George, and Netters, Anima Paladins, Johnny Woof, Marika, and Eric. Thanks very much everyone, you know I appreciate it. And thank you all again very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.